But I don't know about you, but actually his intervention in politics right now is much needed. A man who at one point was really focusing on technology and innovations and science and tech now sees himself, I think, as very much the protector of the free world, the defender of free speech. Ever since he's taken over X and tried to clean up that platform, rid it of all of the bots and try and make sure that it becomes the fora, the marketplace where we can all share information, where we can trade facts and opinions and discuss the state of the world, he's seen repeatedly this effort being shut down, especially in Western countries. He has seen the EU try and take him to task on repeated occasions, dealing, like I've said already, you know, we're trying to close down the way we exchange information rather than, frankly, dealing with the platforms that are responsible for the nefarious acts being committed. You know, rather than going after paedophilia and the sale of drugs and weapons, instead they just want to stop us talking about it. And it was amazing. I don't know if you saw his interview with Donald Trump the other day. It started 45 minutes late because someone had tried to hack it. Perhaps Thierry Breton himself was there, hacking away at his computer keyboard, desperately trying to make sure that interview didn't take place. But why? Why is everybody trying to silence a former president and the richest man in the world from having a chit-chat? Surely that is stuff that we need to hear. What we do need to hear is, who is Elon? What's he all about? And why has he suddenly run to our defence? I'm pleased to say, finally, after having to freestyle there for a good 5 minutes, that I now am joined by his dad, Errol Musk. Errol, wow, what a pleasure to have you on board. I mean, I'm a huge fan of your son, right? I think most of my listeners are a huge fan of your son, not just for all of his brilliant inventions, but the fact that he's sticking up for us in the United Kingdom in what's become a pretty dystopian time. What is driving him? Because, you know, he's the richest man on earth. He's invented so many incredible things. He's made his money. He's putting stuff in space, EVs and all the rest of it. But now he's being driven very much to stand up for free speech. Has that always been the nature of him?
Yes, I would say that's the basic nature of him. The other things come with that. His basic nature is what you are seeing now. It's something we as a family have always been very involved in. It's not new to us. We always perhaps felt we weren't in a position to comment, but when we are in a position to comment, like now internationally, I mean, here in South Africa, we often commented, but yes, so that's him. That's who he is. And the other things are simply add-ons.
Yeah, I mean, what is his motivating factor in all of this? I was watching an incredible interview with him, actually, where, you know, someone had suggested it's all about connecting people. You know, everything he does is all about bringing the world together.
No, exactly. I mean, very much so. You know, if you want to know who, you know, if you take X, for example, that's who he is. You know, he bought the name X 20 years ago, X.com, and he's been dying to use it, and he finally did. Yeah, the other things are things you do for work purposes. And the X is who he is.
I mean, I've been doing my homework, and I heard you doing an interview where you sort of said to him, when he started to, I suppose, first take a little foray into talking about political issues, that you would potentially warn him not to get involved in politics because that could be dangerous. And yet here he is, very much involving himself in talking about what's going on in the United Kingdom. And then, of course, platforming Donald Trump, much to the chagrin of the European Union and other left-wing entities, and actually sort of offering himself up to potentially be in a Trump cabinet.
Well, yes, you know, as I say, once again, I repeat, you know, what he's doing now is actually who he is. The other things one has had to do for work purposes. So, you know, you've got many people who are in politics today who are leaders and so on, but their original job was perhaps even as a doctor or a lawyer or, you know, whatever. I mean, it can be anything, but that they had to do for work. And, you know, at the end of the day, 50% of everything we do in life is politics. And although people don't realize that, half of your life is governed by politics. And that's what we really want to have an opportunity to add something there, if we can.
At the moment, he is being sort of vilified, frankly, and demonised by a subset of the political community, let's say, because he's refusing to play by their rules that most of us find pretty onerous. What is the nature of your son? We don't know him. We see him on television. We see the interviews that he does. And, what I get here is a man actually full of compassion, a man who loves the world. I remember when the Thai boys were stuck in the cave and he wanted to help. A contrarian, perhaps, in some respects. A man who doesn't actually sort of, necessarily do everything by the rule book. But a man who, to me, seems to actually be driven a lot by a deep sense of love and duty.
Yes, I don't want to get into the cave thing. He mistook the word PADI for PADI, which is a dying organisation. I don't want to get into that now.
No, it wasn't a bias thing. It was a positive thing. He wanted to help.
It was something that happened by mistake. Anyway, yeah. So no, we are people who, from school days onwards, from university and so on, from any point of view, we always want to try, if we feel capable, to add and be part of what's happening. And I was a city councillor of our capital city at the age of 23, which was quite unusual because I was the only English-speaking city councillor for 48 years in Pretoria. And so that also suggests that I was quite concerned about our city and so on. I didn't even know you received a salary. That was a surprise to me. But so we were interested, at university in the various student groups and so on. And we were quite active in opposing apartheid, which we never liked. All of us were, So it's not a new thing. As I say, if he's taken a long time to get into it, this, like you say, it's because he has had to feel confident in being able to get into it at this time. And as regards him being viciously attacked or something that I think he's made.
Vilified. So
vilified.
Pantomime villain.
That's laughable, because from the day you start becoming a part of the human circus at school or wherever, if you're a winner, you get vilified, So if you win the girl at school, you get vilified. If you come first at school, you get vilified. If you can't handle that, then don't win anything. Don't get the girl or whatever it is, Don't do it.
Tell us, what
so
is
we
your,
take it in our stride.
Like? Yeah, what is your boy like? I mean, like I said, we don't know him, and to me he seems quite a gentle soul, actually.
Yes, he's very gentle. Well, I can give you one quite interesting example, I suppose. When he was 14 and it was my birthday, and I used to travel. He grew up with me, and I used to travel a lot. When I came back from a trip to Europe once, it was my birthday, and he gave me a little white cassette, and it was Louis Armstrong's cassette, What a Wonderful World. And he insisted that we sit down. He was only 14. In a sort of innocent way. He said, Dad, you got to listen to this. You got to listen to this. And we put it into our cassette player, and it was Louis Armstrong singing What a Wonderful World. And it was a bit corny, but when we sat there and listened to it, it was rather nice. And I realized when he did that, I thought, gee, he has a very grand view of life, of people and everything, I really did. And so he's always been kind of an innocent sort of person. You have to sort of feel you have to explain to him if he's getting into a situation that's bad. I mean, I have said to him when he started getting into politics at the beginning of, I think it was 2022, he started getting into it because Biden had not invited Tesla to the White House, but invited all the other electric car manufacturers, and had actually introduced GM as the premier electric car manufacturer. And by that stage, Tesla had built already over 1 million cars that year. And so Elon was very upset, and he started getting into politics, started saying things. And I did say to him at the time, you realize you're getting into politics. This is dangerous. These people kill you. They don't play around. This is not, You know, they don't happy if you lose your money. These people kill you. So I said to him, make sure you've got very good guards, you know, and very good people who check who your guards are, and good people who check who check the people who your guards are, and so on. You know what I mean? So that they are properly vetted, you know. And he said, don't worry, he has. And I know for a fact that he has up to 30 personal guards at this time. Incredible guys, I know them.
Good. Well, we need him to be protected because he really is an extremely strong and important voice right now who we feel is protecting us. How much do you think his upbringing in South Africa has shaped his worldview? It sounds to me like this is a man who actually wants to make a wonderful world, to quote Louis Armstrong, that he's a big dreamer, that he's got huge ambitions for our planet.
A big dreamer.
On it.
Very big dreamer. You know, sometimes as a dad, I would have to say to him, you know, like, okay, it might be possible, but, you know, a bit of a dreamer. And but on the other hand, of course, he's taken all these ideas and turned them into reality. And, you know, I think of myself as an electrical engineer. I used to think about electric cars. I used to build rockets as a child. I never thought I could take it any further than that, but he seemed to think bigger. And all my children are like that. You know, my other son is the same. And so I'm very happy. It's wonderful. And my advice to people is listen to Elon. And when he told this Starmer character, you know, whatever it is that he told him, I'd say to Starmer, you know, look, you're getting into a deeper swimming pool here, my friend.
I mean, it's interesting, actually, because one thing that Elon had said about our country when things looked pretty hairy, when we had riots on our streets and we looked like a fractured society, now things are calming down and I hope we can go back to the wonderful, integrated, calm and peaceful Britain that I think at one point we were sort of famous around the world for being. But he said, you know, it looks like the UK is going into civil war. And people said, oh, that's terrible, you can't say that, that's inflammatory. But I wonder if he looked at what was going on and, you know, having been brought up in South Africa, which itself has been riven by all sorts of conflicts and societal divisions, that this is actually something close to his heart that he definitely does not want to see happen.
Oh, no. He would not want to see that, of course not. But he's stating a simple fact. So, I mean, it's not as though he made anything up. To anyone looking at England from the outside now, I can tell you, we had a lot of problems in South Africa, and we never had anything like what you're having. We had a few odd situations, maybe once or twice when some malls or something were damaged, but nothing like what is going on there. And so anyone who looks at the situation then one has to feel very sorry for the English people. I feel very sorry for them. I grew up in England for a few years, and I know nearly all the towns, London, Gloucester, Bristol, Liverpool. Lived in all those places.
You lived in Gloucester? I'm from Gloucester. That's amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I like Gloucester. I like the weather there. It was very good weather there. The weather was quite good there, I seem to recall. And it was, very, very nice people. And Cheltenham and so on. And, but the situation there, I think the English people have been given a really raw deal. Not to say that other European countries haven't also perhaps being given a very raw deal. I've got nothing against these people who come from the desert countries or whatever they are, or wherever they come from. I mean, but, you know, they are quite different to the people that they are going to, live with. And I read last week, I think it was, that 17 out of 23 major cities are run by Muslims. I'm not to say there's anything wrong with that. I don't know, but it just worries me because I think, well, you know, isn't that England? Isn't that England?
I mean, I can't say I'm familiar with that specific statistic.
I read that. Well, in fact, about a day ago, I saw that it was Pakistan's National Independence Day or something, and I think it was the mayor of Leeds is a Muslim guy, and that's fine, I suppose. But he raised the Muslim flag over Leeds. I mean, the Pakistani flag over Leeds. It's kind of weird, you know. It's kind of. I mean, I don't think you could do that in those countries, and go there and become the Englishman who becomes the mayor of whatever the place is called. and then you raise the British flag or whatever over the city.
I mean, people would say, I mean, I agree with you. Look, as someone who's actually gone and worked in Pakistan, I think if I went to sort of run to be the mayor of Karachi, I probably wouldn't go down very well. But you know, we have to have big conversations in this country and try and answer some very difficult and taboo questions. And it seems to me that that is something that Elon is actually encouraging when he took over X. And what some people see is this is dangerous, this is provoking conflict. You know, you can't say that because people might get upset or offended, or this is going to increase division and the algorithms. That actually perhaps what he wants to do is the opposite and allow people the opportunity to exchange information freely and solve their problems.
Yes, absolutely no intention to cause difficulty, but at the same time to make an observation that, you know, if you see somebody standing at the very edge of a cliff, you might make the observation, don't stand too close, you're going to fall off. That's being helpful, actually. And, you know, the other thing that we as a family have discussed is that it seems as though you're introducing a new class, an actual new class of people, a sort of new middle class of people in the United Kingdom that is totally different to the old existing middle class. And this new middle class is actually one with teeth and one that may not specifically agree with the way the existing middle class accepted things like the monarchy and so on. I mean, they seem to be looking at vastly different kind of England in the future to what you have now.
Do you know, that's
and I don't think that's rocket science to figure that one out.
That's a really poignant observation, actually. And we've been discussing it a lot on the programme, the fact that what your son might call the woke mind virus does appear to be endemically part of the more affluent members of our society. Well, you don't find it in the working classes so much.
No, I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking more of the fact that the largest new group is Muslim, and they have a different culture to English culture, and they would not see things the same as, you know, English people see things. And so I think, you know, that's why you have that's why the English people are objecting. They have a good reason to object, I would say. So, you know, it's very sad, actually.
We have a lot of big conversations we need to have in this country, Errol. I'll tell you that much for free. Before I let you go, it's been a really delightful talking to you. And my audience are messaging in. They love your son. Your son to us is one of our protectors. How is your boy doing? Is he all right?
Yeah, he's very good. Very good. Very good, thank you. They have their good times. I spent a little time at the Olympics and had a little bit of a break here and there in Portugal this last 4 weeks or so, and it was my daughter's birthday, and she held it in Portugal. Yeah.
Oh, well, listen, pass on the sort of sensible people of the United Kingdom's warmest regards to your boy, because we need him right now. We need a strong voice standing up for free speech.
Okay, well, I can tell you this: you can depend on him.
That's good.
Ask, and you will receive.
I mean, this really does make him sound messianic. Errol, thank you ever so much. It's been really wonderful talking to you. And, yeah, quite an honour to speak to the fountainhead of the man that created Elon. I mean, for crying out loud.